Welcome to Nature Therapy Online. Hi folks, and welcome to another episode of Nature Therapy Online. Happy New Year! I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing right now, it feels like a really positive new year for you. I hope you're making a lot of plans for bonding with nature this year. I'm Stephen McCabe and I'm an ecotherapist living in Scotland, and you might have noticed a few things already. First of all, the fact that I'm whispering a little bit. That's because it's night time and I'm outdoors in my garden and I don't want to disturb my neighbours. And the second strange sound or strange thing you might have noticed is this sound. Can you hear that's the snow under my feet? And I'm at the back of my garden here, walking around by the snow, and even though it's night time, it's so bright. Even though it's nighttime, it's so bright. And even though it's really cloudy in the sky and there's even a little bit of rain coming down, the moon is so bright tonight. It's so unbelievably bright that even though it's 10 p.m. and even though the clouds are covering the sky, the sheer power of it is just illuminating everywhere around. And I'm looking over the small stone wall at the back of my house, and all there are white fields, white hills, the dark silhouettes of trees, and this gorgeous silver light that's beaming down on me from the final full moon of 2020. And now, I didn't know what I was going to talk about. Exactly. I knew I wanted to talk about the moon, and I don't have any plans or any script about where I'm going to go with this podcast. I usually don't, to be honest. I used to in the beginning, but sometimes I decide on the day which part of nature is calling to me. And it had to be the moon today. So I'm looking up right now, and it's like this perfect silver penny behind these travelling misty clouds right over there in the distance. I just find the moon so transfixing and beautiful, and I think it's one of the aspects of nature that grounds me perhaps more than anything else. I don't know if you've spent much time watching the moon, or if it's something that you practice, but if it isn't, then I would suggest that you do. Sometimes, like I'm doing now, if you just stare for a short amount of time, it's amazing how quickly you can notice the movement of our globe spinning one way and our friend, the rocky satellite up there, moving in the other direction. And you might want to just spend a bit of time thinking about how we're all just spinning around we're moving around the sun and the moon is moving around us, and we take this for granted that this is our reality. We get lost in our stories and our everyday petty worries and concerns that sometimes are very worrying and concerning and sometimes are of no consequence. And sometimes just taking the time to look up at the moon can really put things in perspective and really bring that sense of just awesome wonder. Like, what's it doing up there? What are we doing? Why are we spinning around this sun? How big is the space out there? How far does it go? At the moment I'm looking up. It's getting dimmer and dimmer up there. And the snow has started to fall down again. I'm outside, I'm wearing my pyjamas and my very fluffy, warm dressing gown. I've got one of those Russian style fluffy hats, you know, with the big warm pieces that go down along your ears and pin up underneath your chin. And I'm just watching it, even though the moon has just gone completely out of sight, completely behind the grey sky and the clouds. Still, it's so bright out here. Behind me, where the sheep usually are, there's this huge pool that's turned to ice. That sometimes happens because this is a very, very strange, very hilly place, and this huge pool forms in the winter and then it turns to ice. And I'm looking at it now and just looking at this whole landscape of snow being completely illuminated like this. And half of me thinks, I must be like, you know, a bit deranged to be stood out here at this time of night in the snow, looking up at the moon. But the other half of me thinks, actually, I'm a lot more deranged when I don't pay any attention to this and I stay at home, looking at a screen, watching some inconsequential TV program on Netflix, when actually I could be watching the mother moon up there. She's coming back into view just now. I was going to say it's like she knows I'm talking about her and she wants to come back into view, but of course that's not what's happening at all. I'm not that important for the moon, and that's great. And this is my simple and powerful invitation for you to start this new year, because you know, sometimes if you're in the northern hemisphere anyway, the first months of the year can be the hardest in terms of being so potentially dark and cold wherever you are. But wherever you are and whenever winter comes, you get to see more of the moon. And to make this part of your ecotherapy practice and your nature practice, to track the moon, watch the moon, see it wax and wane at different stages, and even when there's a new moon and you can't see it, just to know it's there. That's what I invite you to do as your first nature practice of 2021. And even if you live somewhere where it's the height of summer right now and it's really hot, just spend some time with it anyway. Take some night time, go out late, watch the moon. And if you enjoy it and you bond with her, do what I do and get yourself a little moon calendar, or even watch it online. Pay attention to how you feel when the moon is in different states. And just enjoy this great big mystery of being alive. Now I want to say to you again, Happy New Year. coming back slowly to my house. You can hear the crunching sounds. Looking back over at my garden, completely covered in this snow, and just I'm going to give a little bow, a little nod to the moon. And I want to say thank you for listening, and I hope you're doing great wherever you are and whatever's going on. Thanks for tuning in, and bye-bye. Visit me online at naturetherapyonline.net.